Okay, we're going to do some greatest common factoring. So this is basically undistributing. What we're going to do is look at what is the greatest common factor between 96 and 240. So what's our greatest common multiple? I'm going to start with 96 and 240, and then I'm going to make an upside down division sign, which I like to call an upside down birthday cake. What number divides out of 96 and 240? I think 4. So 96 divided by 4 is 24. And then 240 divided by 4 is 60. Then I'm going to divide again. All right, what divides now out of 24 and 60? I think 6. So 24 divided by 6 would give me 4. And 60 divided by 6 is 10. Is there anything else that will divide out of 4 and 10? Yes, a 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. I'm going to head in. Anything else divide out of 2 and 5? Nope. We stop there. So now we take all of these values for our greatest common factor, or our greatest common multiple is 4 times 6 times 2, which I'm going to multiply together. 4 times 6 is 24 times 2, which gives me 48. So the highest number that will divide out of both 96 and 48 and 240 is 48. Okay. Let's try the next one. This time we have variables. So we're going to do 20x squared y to the fourth. And then our other factor is 15x cubed y squared. Okay, so what divides out of 20 and 15 to start? And I think 5. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. So now let's look at the x's. This x squared is basically x times x, and x cubed is x times x times x. How many factors of x do we have in common? Well, 2 and 2. So 2 x's get pulled out to the front. X squared divided by x squared is 1, so those cancel. And then x cubed divided by x squared will leave me with 1x. The next part, how many y's are in common? I have 4 factors of y here and 2 factors of y here. So that's 2 in common. And then so y squared times y squared would give me y to the fourth power. And is there anything else that I can divide out of these? No. So our greatest common factor, or GCF, is 5x squared y squared. That's the most amount of stuff I can divide out of 20x squared y to the fourth and 15x cubed y squared. All right, so we're going to use that skill today to basically unfactor a binomial. All right, so we know that the inside of the area model is the sum. So I'm going to go ahead and write the area as the sum, 10x squared plus 25x. And then we're going to write the product, or as factors, of length times width of the area model. So the length is 5x. So what would the width be so 5x times what would give me 10x squared. So 5 times 2 gives me 10, and x times x would give me x squared. So now we need to multiply the 5x by something to give me 25x squared. Another way to think about this is 25 divided by 5 would give me 5, and x divided by x is 1. So the outside length here would be 2x plus 5. So when I multiply 5x by 2x plus 5, I get 10x squared plus 25x. We can check by distributing. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10. X times x is 10x squared. 5 times 5 is 25. Times x is 25x. So my answer is this. This is equal to that. Okay. All right, next one with less circles this time. All right, so I think as my sum, I have 90xy minus 100y. This is the sum, okay? And our length times width. So our length is going to be 10y times what is going to give me 90xy minus 100y. So 10 times what gives me 10y times what gives me 90y. So 10 times 9 is 90. And then it looks like I'm missing an x, so I need to multiply 9x times 10y to give me 90xy minus 10 times what is going to give me a negative 100, a negative 10, so minus 10. And then do I need to multiply by any variables? No, because this is y times 1 would give me a y. So 10y times 9x minus 10 is going to give me this sum over here. There we go. That's my solution. So we're taking the inside stuff here, okay? And what we want to do is undistribute a number, the greatest common factor. So our greatest common factor, the most amount of stuff I can divide out of 90xy and negative 100y is 10y. All right, so we're going to do this again. This time, I'm not going to tell you what the greatest common factor is until later. Okay, so our sum is 45x minus 18y. So what is the most amount that I can divide out of 45 and 18? Okay, so we can make our cake. Okay, what divides out of 45 and 18? I see 9. 9 times what gives me 45? 5. 9 times what gives me 18? Which is 2. Any common factors between 5 and 2? Nope, we're done. Our greatest common factor is 9. So I'm going to go ahead and over here, my GCF, my greatest common factor comes up first. So I get 9 times what gives me 45? Looks like 5x, because I need the x there since there's no x with the 9. Okay, and then 9 times what is going to give me negative 18? And that is 9 times negative 2 gives me negative 18. What times what gives me y? So 1 times what gives me y? And that's going to be 2y. So I'm distributing in 9 times 5x minus 2y to give me 45x minus 18y. Okay, so next one, we're going to go ahead and start with 12x plus 8. And then, so what is our greatest common factor between 12x and 8? And so the highest number we can divide out of both of those is 4. And then can I divide out any variables? No. So my GCF, I'm undividing 4 out of both 12x and 8. So 12x divided by 4 would give me 3x. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. I'm going to check to make sure these things work. 4 times 3x gives me 12x. And then 4 times 2 would give me 8. Okay, so we have to write this as a product. Our length is 3x plus 2, and the height is 4. So 4 times 3x plus 2. When I distribute in these values, I should get 12x plus 8. All right, last time. This time, I only give you the expression, so 21x squared minus plus 9x. I need to put each term, so each thing that's being added together, into the area model. Plus 9x. What is our greatest common factor between 21 and 9? So the highest thing I can divide out is 3. And then between x squared and x, let's see, x squared is x times x, and x is just x. So there's one x in common. I'm going to go ahead and multiply. So 21 divided by 3 is 7. Or you can check 3 times 7 is 21. X times what would give me x squared? X times x gives me x squared. And then we're going to go ahead and do the second part. So 3 times what gives me 9? 3 times 3. And then x times what gives me x? Which is 1. So all I need is a 3 there. I'm going to go ahead and write the length and the width. So 3 times 7x plus 3 gives me 21. So 3x times 7x gives me my 21x squared. And then my 3x times 3 gives me 9x. Last example here. All right, so all of this goes in the inside. Each term, 70x plus, this is 70x squared plus 28x. Okay, so make sure you add in that squared. All right, so greatest common factor. I'm going to go ahead and make a cake here. So I'm going to do 70x squared plus 28x. And I can see that between 70 and 28, a 7 divides out. So I get 7 times 10 gives me 70, and I haven't done anything with the x squared, so I'm going to leave that. Plus 7 times 4 gives me 28. Right now I don't need this plus. Okay, 28, and I haven't done anything with the x, so I'm going to bring that down. Okay, anything divide out of 10 and 4? Yes, a 2. So 2 times 5 is 10, and I still haven't done anything with the x squared. And then 2 times 2 is 4, and I haven't done anything with the x. All right, so nothing divides out of 5 and 2. What divides out of x squared and x? That's an x. So 5x squared divided by x is 5x, and 2x divided by x is just 2. Took out one factor of x, so one multiple of x. Okay, does anything else divide out of 5x and 2? Any common factors? No, so our GCF is 7 times 2 times x, which would give me 14x. All right, so our GCF here, our greatest common factor, I'm going to divide out 14x from 70x squared. So 70x squared divided by 14. 70 divided by 14 is 5. And x, I'm taking x squared divided by x, so I need one more x there. And then 28 divided by 14, 28 divided by 14 is 2, so plus 2. And then x divided by x is 1, so I don't need an x on the top. So I write this as 14x times 5x plus 2.